Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Shake Sales. I'm super pumped to talk to Trent Dressel today. Trent's been in sales for over 5 years, started in Qualtrics as an SDR, moved all the way up to AE number 5, if I recall correctly.
That's right.
I don't know what that means. You'll have to tell me more. But now you're teaching people how to become sales reps at CourseCareers. Welcome, Trent.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. We've closed a few deals in our day and helped a few people get hired along the way in tech sales. So it's been an exciting ride, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation today.
Awesome. Pumped to talk to you because, we're heading into 2024. If you're just entering sales, it's probably a lot of different skills that you need today than you did 5-10 years ago. So what do you think, what are the most important foundational things you need to know as a incoming sales rep into your career?
A book we teach that I recommend everyone checks out, it's How to Win Friends and Influence People. And of course, the different tools and technology and tactics may change year to year. Hey, AI wave, is everyone going to lose their jobs? What can we do to automate, be on the phone less, whatever it may be? The foundation of sales to me is ultimately communication, listening, being able to understand, hey, who are you? What do you want? Why would you buy now? Why would you buy from us? And how can I articulately convey the value as to how our solution will help you and your team? So I would really recommend getting back to the basics of being able to listen and communicate. And I'd say those are the two most important skills for someone to focus on in 2023 and beyond.
Love it. Love it. I got 2 more things to add to that. One, my favorite book, game changer for me professionally and personally, is Never Eat Alone. And then there's another one called Mastermind Talk or Mastermind Dinners. Yeah. But anyways, these are 2 books on pretty much just focusing on getting connected with people in your industry. If you're in sales, it's your golden parachute. It's how you get job offers before you're looking. It's how you move up and whatnot. But the point is, in 2014, every week I just connected with one person. That was 50 people. I've kept doing it, and I actually have done maybe 2 or 3 people in a week and whatnot. And now my Rolodex, I should probably do a better job of keeping a Rolodex, but my virtual Rolodex of people I know is in the thousands, right? And it's just a small behavior change. That's hard to do because you got to put yourself out there. And the second tip I have for folks getting into sales, I don't know, I'm an introverted, I'm a weirdo. If you really want to, when I go meet someone new, if you hear what I actually want to talk about, I want to just talk about racing cars and fun shit all the time. Now, reality is there's a small percentage of people I run into that be interested in stuff I'm interested in. Yeah. But it doesn't mean we can't have a common ground of interesting things. So I like to, I wrote this article 2014 called Icebreaker Questions. And I just started going to Google and just Googling weird questions and things to ask. Right. So every single conversation I start with somebody that's new, a stranger, right? Specifically if you're doing cold calls or whatever, to warm up things. I just ask a question what's your favorite ice cream? And boom, you like vanilla? That's weird. Why do you like vanilla? It's just it's something that you can then start to probe and ask questions. And then when you're asking a prospect, why do you like vanilla? And then you go into why do you want this? What's this important? So it's you're not grilling them in a bad way. You're just curious and interested, even though you might not be. And frankly, I'll admit this, I don't actually give a crap about the answer. It's just a way for me to converse without being a weirdo and talking about what I normally talk about, which is rock climbing or racing cars or whatever shit. Anyways, Trent, this is about you. Jumping into the next question. What are some traits that you are required to succeed in tech sales?
Yeah, and to your point, I think weird is interesting. If you think about a lot of your friends, it's because in their own respect, they're quirky or weird and memorable. So when you think about translating that to sales, ultimately relationships are a value exchange. Whether it's with your friends and family, you're exchanging love, whether it's laughs. With a prospect, oftentimes, especially selling software, it's a knowledge-based transaction. So you are building a relationship. But at the end of the day, a 50-year-old executive is going to give me an hour of their time because I'm able to show up and deliver a unique viewpoint. I'm viewed as a domain expert in this niche topic as employee surveys and culture and employee retention that's going to help their business. That's why they're going to give me the time of day. And that's how I will ultimately earn the relationship with them, by offering and adding value in addition to just being an interesting, cool person that they actually want to meet with and that they enjoy listening to speak. Because I'm sure you've been on demos where you listen to people and you say, this isn't very engaging. I don't know if I want to keep listening to this. Whereas if someone is able to captivate your attention and you want to hear what they have to say next, you're much more likely to actually buy from them or want to work with them.
Absolutely. I think that's a very, very important trait. And it's almost like one of those things that like gets you in the door and then keeps the door open, right? I think those are like, people forget that like, you can't just be interesting in the first 15, 20, 30 seconds in the cold call. You got to keep that like energy and the value add throughout the whole process.
We want to upsell and cross sell over time. We got to keep the door open.
Absolutely.
Got to keep growing the business.
Well, I mean, also like it's important it's the next step into building trust, right? If somebody is not listening to you, they're not going to hear what you say, and you can't build that trust, relationship long term. On LinkedIn, you talk a lot about like high performers and what it takes. What's like, so middle of the pack sales rep or salesperson, high performer, what is actually, what's the difference in your mind? What do they do differently?
I personally am fascinated by the idea of maximizing my potential and knowing that, hey, I can go on and do great things, and it's my choice. It's my decision. If you look at quota, it's a binary result. Either you hit quota or you don't hit quota. So when you simplify it, either you decide to hit quota or you decide not to hit quota. And I know a lot of people may be thinking, well, hey, things are out of my control. The marketing team doesn't spend on advertisements. I'm not getting any inbound leads. Hey, I don't want to pick up the phone. The best reps ultimately take responsibility for everything in their world. They take utter accountability and they think of themselves as the CEO of their own business. So as you think about yourself, you are all in, you are committed, you will do whatever it takes to go win the deal. And I'm sure in the early days, you relied on the relationships, and now you're making things happen at a high level. If every employee took that sense of ownership and accountability for their results and doing their job to the best of their ability, it would be an incredibly high performing organization. So I believe the best reps take responsibility for everything. The best rep I ever knew, and the one thing he did that he taught me, is every day at the end of the day, he would notate one thing he learned. And he was always researching not only industry best practices so he could show up to these meetings and deliver value, but he was also researching what skills he could do better. He was researching what other people were doing. And this guy was he was such a fanatic for development. That's really what the best reps are doing. They are out learning, outgrowing, and outworking everyone else. And the reps that end up missing quota start to make excuses. They play the blame game. The grass is greener over there. I've stopped learning, and I'm not as valuable to the people around me. Therefore, I may be expendable, and which manifests itself in a lot of layoffs. And of course, it's been a tough environment, but people who will learn will rise.
Absolutely. So learning quickly, learning more, and just executing, right? Like there's any company, anytime, like tough economy now, but like when it's not, like there's always a reason why you can't do things, right? Like there's a reason not to wake up in the morning and go to the gym. But if you just got past that like hurdle, you're there. Might as well do the best job you can. One of the things I think in sales, especially in the first 5 years of your career, whether you're an SDR, AE, or whatever role you're in grind and execution mode. And it reminds me like what I mean by that is like a parallel with like Kobe Bryant. So Kobe Bryant, he's notorious for waking up at like 3 or 4 a.m. and starting practicing. He gets a before breakfast workout of basketball, 3 hours or something. He gets a lunch and then gets an evening. You fast forward for like a year, most people wake up like at 6 or 7 or 8, and they end up getting 2 with a rest in between. If you just do 3 for a year, you're 33% ahead of everybody. Multiply by like 2, 3, 4. You're working while people are sleeping. And that's not something that's sustainable for sure. But early in your career, it's a differentiator, and it's something that like you take with you forever. Right? I started when I was 18, 19 in like software and marketing, and like I just got like a decade above people because I just started young and I was in
It,
school or whatever. Anyways, yeah.
and the two variables every rep can control is their will and their skill. Everyone listening right now can improve their will by simply deciding to work harder. Of course, that's in your control. That's the low-hanging fruit. And it's as simple as just deciding, I'll make twice as many calls as the next guy. Anyone can improve by doing that, but ultimately you're constrained by time. You only have the 12-hour day you're going to work, or 24 hours in a day. So that's where the skill component comes into play, and not just saying skill to skill, but thinking of Kobe Bryant. There was a performance coach who met him and went to go watch him practice in one of these early morning sessions. They were on a trip, and Kobe said, meet me at the gym at 5 a.m. So the guy gets to the gym and he's sitting there watching Kobe practically in the dark, and Kobe does not dribble a ball for the first hour. So he goes and asks Kobe, hey, Kobe, what are you doing? What are you practicing? And he says, I'm working on my footwork because this is the technique that's ultimately going to help me get the angles on my shots and score more points. So he's focused on this very specific skill. So rather than just saying, hey, I'm going to improve my solution presentation demo skills, it's, hey, what specifically in the demo? How can I open up and set a better agenda? How can I make sure to demonstrate the value of this particular feature capability in alignment with their business problems? It's getting that granular with what specific skill will take me to the next level, and constantly identifying those opportunities so that you can keep working harder and combine that with the effectiveness and the skill. And that's what the top reps are doing.
Love it, love it. One of the things you said, like, just like hit a thing for me. It's like most people ask for feedback, they ask for advice, they ask for they seek information, but very little people, the high performers, take one nugget of information and do a whole lot with it. Most people are out there Googling the secrets to sales, and then there's that one person who's like, I got like one nugget, I'm going to just execute and master this. And they just keep doing that over and over again. You got to be on the execution side because you keep seeking information, advice, feedback. There's only so much you can get better at. You got to practice. All right, last question here. I know that these are super short videos aimed at, really getting a lot of information out in a short period of time. So obviously it's a tough time. A lot of folks, tech has had a lot of layoffs. I'm sure a lot of folks are looking for jobs in the sales space. What are some ways people can kind of stand out or get a job these days? Anything you think could help them kind of get back in the game, I guess?
Let me give everyone a practical example of how to get an interview today. So when I got hired, I was right out of college. I never had experience. I never had an internship. I never had a mentor. I was fortunate to be at a university with a job fair, and the software company I started my career at happened to be there. So I was right place, right time, built up my career, built my experience. Even though I was a top performer, I lost my job earlier this year. So there's a lot of circumstances that could work in or out of your favor. So in the process of deciding, okay, should I keep doing my own thing? Should I go get another job? What should I do? I actually tested the job market to get firsthand experience. Hey, what would this be like? And I genuinely was interested in how good of a company could I get at? So it all starts with asking yourself what you actually want. Most people have no idea. They'll go to LinkedIn, they'll search for jobs, they'll mass apply, and they'll question, why am I not getting any responses? So make a list, just like you would for a territory plan, of the top 10 companies you want to work for. For me, I wanted to work for a startup, a high growth potential company that could have an exit, that seemed like it had a lot of potential, selling a product I was knowledgeable about. So what I did was I Googled funded companies. I found a website with 900 of Series A through Series F funded companies. I wanted to sell HR or sales tech, and I ended up finding a list of 3 companies. I identified one I really wanted to work for. So what I did was the company was hiring for one sales position, which required 10 years of experience. I applied, even though I definitely don't have the experience. After applying, I connected with all of the people on LinkedIn, the VP of sales, the senior manager of sales, and a recruiter. I waited 24 hours, and then I made an 8-minute video of me selling their product to them as if, hey, day one, this is what I would do. I emailed them all a custom note. Hey, are you still hiring for this role? This is why I'd be a good fit. Check out this video. 2 of the 3 of those leaders I reached out to responded. The VP of sales said, really impressive application. They both connected me with the recruiter via email. I had an interview that following Monday. I didn't end up getting the job, but that's just an example of how you can go from ambiguous, they don't know who you are, to you all of a sudden coming out of the blue, showing credibility, showing you can solve their problem. And I promise you, anyone can get in the door doing that. And that's all that matters, is getting in the door and then giving yourself a chance to be in the interview process.
I love it. And that's a very, very excellent point, because most people in the space today don't get the job because they don't even make it past the first resume review, right?
Nope.
Just don't stand out. And if you stand out, then your skills are you're at the 70% line, right? Then it's like, okay, are you really the right fit? Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome. Trent, thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you and, connect with you?
Yeah. Trent Dressel, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok. We're posting sales content every day.
Love it. We'll link to all this stuff on the show notes. And, thank you so much for hopping on.
Yeah. Thanks again.